Hey, what's up you guys? Thank you for joining me again. Now in this video we are going to be covering at Maths Form 5 Chapter 6 Trigonometric Functions. Now this is a rather difficult chapter for most students, but no worries, because it is a difficult chapter we're going to break this down into 4 main parts. Okay, the first part we'll talk about the basics of Trigo. The second part we'll start drawing graphs. Okay, I'll teach you how to sketch graphs. The third part is proving. Okay, because this chapter there's a lot of proving type of question. Okay, so we want to master that part as much as possible. So that's what we'll be covering in the third part. And the final part of the video will be covering application questions. Okay, these are the 4 main parts. So in this video we are going to be covering the first part, which is the basics of Trigo. So without further ado, let us get started. So when it comes to Trigo, there are a few things that you have to know. Okay, in the past, what you have learned is all this while you know the basic is sine, cos, tangent. Correct? These are the 3 main Trigo that you have learned. And all this while when you solve, you're always solving for acute angle. That means it is lesser than 90 degrees. So for example, sine 30, cos 45, tangent 60, you know, all of the angle here are always acute angle. So all this while when you solve, you always get a positive value. Okay, regardless of what angle it is. If it's acute angle, you get a positive answer. But now you will start learning something beyond acute angle, so you're going to go more than 90 degree. Okay, so all the way to 360 and more. So that's what we're going to learn for this current Trigo that you in this chapter. Okay, it's no longer acute angle anymore. Okay, so the first part here, let's start with 0. Okay, angle 0, and then here will be 90 degree, right? Because 90 is a perpendicular line, so it's 90 degree. After that you get 180 because it's a straight line here, and then you get 270, and then you will get 360. So 360 and 0 is actually the same. Okay, it's a full circle. Okay, so now how are we going to remember this? Okay, let me show you this. Please try to memorize this, which I will make it easier for you lah. So memorize this: all science teachers are crazy. Okay, you can remember this, or you can use other acronyms, as it's up to you, as long as the first one is A, second one is S, third one is T, and last one is C. Okay, so this is the first quadrant, quadrant 1, this is quadrant 2, this is quadrant 3, and this is quadrant 4. Okay, you can use all science teachers are crazy, you can use add sugar to coffee also can. So it's up to you. Okay, use your own, it's your freedom what you want to create. Okay, but I'm using all science teachers are crazy because my science teacher was crazy. Okay, anyway, coming back to this, what does all this stand for? All science teacher crazy, what does it stand for? All, that means all the signs. So that means sine, cos, and tangent. All 3 signs will give you positive value. Okay, all 3 signs. That means if I tell you sine 30, you will get a positive value. Why? Because 30 is an acute angle, is within the 90 degree. Okay, so if it's within the 90 degree, it's acute angle, so it's quadrant 1. So in quadrant 1, all the Trigo, sine, cos, tangent will give you a positive value. Okay, now what if it is in the second quadrant? If it's in second quadrant, see, so you see here, S stands for sine, so only the sine is positive. Okay, only the sine value is positive. Cos and tangent, it will be negative. Okay, third one is tangent. T means tangent, so tangent is positive, and the final one here is cos, cosine lah. Okay, cos is positive. But what if I use let's say cos 150. Is it going to be a positive or a negative answer? See, it's 150. 150 is where? 150 is in the second quadrant, right? It's less than 180 but more than 90. So it's in the second quadrant. Second quadrant, let's say it's here lah. Okay, so 150 is here. Sorry, from here all the way to here, 150. Okay, so because it is in the second quadrant, in the second quadrant only the sign value is positive, correct? So since it's a cos, you're using cos, you'll get a negative answer. Okay, I'll teach you guys how to solve this kind of question later, but I just want you all to know this. Okay, all science teachers are crazy. Okay, at which particular quadrant you get a positive value for which trigo. Okay, you have to know this. Alright, so this is the first part, the most basic part. Okay, I'll give you an exercise later and you'll understand. So the second part you have to know is, now we're going to introduce new trigo. Okay, you've already learned sine, cos, tangent. So now you're going to learn the new one, which is secant. Okay, S-E-C-A-N-T, but just short form is sec. Okay, so secant theta is equals to 1 over cos theta. Okay, secant theta is 1 over cos theta. And then you have cosecant. So in short is cosec. Okay, cosecant theta is equals to 1 over sine theta. Clear? Alright, last one is cot, cotangent. The full word is cotangent, short form is cot. So cot theta equals to 1 over tangent theta. Okay, so how do you remember? I always see the third letter. So the third letter here is C, so here is cos. The third letter is S, so is sine. Third letter is tangent, T, so is tangent. Clear? So this is how I remember. But if you want to use your other ways, by all means, okay? Whichever is easier for you. Okay, now, the last one for this short part is like this. If you rotate, you see this diagram here. If you rotate clockwise, okay, it is usually represented by negative angle. So in other words, if I tell you negative 90 degree, where is negative 90 degree? Negative 90 degree is actually 270 degree. Why? Because negative 90 means you are rotating, see, negative, you are rotating clockwise, so you're opposite direction here. So you are going 90 degree clockwise. So when it's negative, that means you're going opposite direction by 90 degrees. So it's actually the same as positive 270 degree. Okay, it's the same thing. One is clockwise, one is anti-clockwise. Clear? So I'm teaching you how to use this diagram. So if it's anti-clockwise, it will be positive angle. Okay, so this negative positive is only telling you the direction. Okay, if it's negative angle, that means it's going clockwise. Okay, if you don't remember, you just remember the normal way is rotating like this. If it's negative, it's reverse. Okay, that's how you remember. Clear? Okay, so that is all for these small parts. Now I'm going to show you how to use this diagram. Okay, how to use this. Right, let's go to the next one. Alright, so I give you an example. Let's say we are in the, let's say, okay, I draw the, we are in the first quadrant here. Okay, let's say this is 30 degree. Okay, so 30 degree is of course the first quadrant, so Q1. Okay, so in the first quadrant, all the sine, cos, tangent is going to give you a positive answer, correct? So if I write sine 30 or cos 30 or tangent 30, you try keying this in your calculator, you will get all positive. Okay, but the answer will be different, of course, but it all will be positive. So you will get 1 over 2, sine 1 over 2, sine 30 is 1 over 2, positive 1 over 2, and then cos 30 is sine 3 over 2, and then tangent is sine 3 over 3. Okay, this is the first quadrant. Okay, Now, what if you are now in the second quadrant? So let's say like this. I give you, okay, now we got an angle here. Okay, so from here all the way to here. So from 0, here is 90, here is 180. Yeah? So now this angle here is 150. So what will be the answer? So if I write sine 150 or cos 150 or tangent 150, now you can try this. When you key in your calculator, I told you all before, the first quadrant is all. Second quadrant is sine. All science teacher are crazy, right? So the second quadrant is sine. So only the sine value will give you a positive answer. The rest will give you a negative answer. Okay, but this, what I'm going to show you now, is not about using calculator. Everyone knows how to use calculator, okay? But you need to learn this, which I'm going to show you in a while, which is how to solve without calculator. How to solve without calculator. The reason is because when you go towards the back of the chapter, towards the end, especially the proving and all that, you will encounter questions where you cannot use calculator. Okay, you need to prove, you need to show stuff, you cannot use calculator. So you have to change this. What you're going to do is, all this 150, right, is all obtuse angle. So what you're going to do is, I'm going to show you how to change this into acute angle again. So change it back to the first quadrant again. So how you're going to do is, you see, here is 150, right? From here to here, 150. So if I want to change to acute angle, I can find this angle. This small angle here, okay? I can find the small angle. Let me use red. This would be the acute angle. So what you can do is, it's actually the same as sine 180 minus 150. Okay, sine 180 minus 150. So same thing to the rest. Cos 180 minus 150. And tangent 180 minus 150. Okay, now here's the thing. When you change it to acute angle, don't just, it's not up to us like we can just simply change. No, you cannot simply change. When you change it to acute angle, you must know what sign to put for them. That's why I taught you all science teachers are crazy. So the second quadrant, 150 is second quadrant, right? So the sign value is positive. Okay, the sign value here is positive. The rest is negative. Clear? So your answer, you will get positive sine 30. Here will be negative cos 30 and negative tangent 30. So you see here, sine 30, cos 30, tangent 30 is actually the same as the first quadrant, right? But the only difference is the sign only is different. The sign, the symbol, how do I say, is the sign like positive or negative. Only that one is different. The rest is the same as the first quadrant. So in the end, you will still get, so here sine 1 over 2, sine 30 is 1 over 2, right? So it's the same thing, 1 over 2. Cos 30 is sec 3 over 2, but it is a negative. Okay, don't forget negative. And then tangent will be negative sec 3 over 3. Okay, so this is how you solve when it's more than 90 degree. Okay, now never mind, let me give you another one. Let's say you are, okay, this is, by the way, is quadrant 2. This quadrant 2. Now what if you are in quadrant 3 now? Okay, let's say you are in quadrant 3 here. Okay, now let's say you have rotated up to 210 from here to here, 210 degree. So here is what all science teachers, so it's tangent. Wait, this is quadrant 3, and this one here is what? Only the tangent is positive, the rest will be negative, correct? So let's do this together. So sine 150, sine 210, cos 210, tangent 210. Okay, of course, if you can straight away use calculator, but I want to show you how to do it manually. Okay, so what you can do is, so remember, tangent is going to be positive, the rest is going to be negative. Okay, now the next thing you have to do is change it to acute angle. So how are you going to change it to acute angle? The acute angle would be here. Okay, so what you can do is you take 210 minus 180, correct? Because here to here is 180. So 210 minus 180, you get the acute angle here. Okay, so you're going to write sine 210 minus 180 cos 210 minus 180, and then tangent 210 minus 180. So what would be your answer? You will still get the negative, but now is sine 30 again. So sine negative cos 30 and positive cos 30. So you notice I just changed back all to the first quadrant, right? Because all now become acute angle, but the only difference is the positive negative change. Okay, so your answer would be negative 1/2 for sine 30, here negative sec 3/2, and then negative sec 3/3. Clear? So this is how you solve for the third quadrant. Now what if you are now in the fourth quadrant? Let me draw a fourth quadrant here. Let's say I got this. So now you are rotating, let's say you are rotating 330 degree. Okay, so this is quadrant 4. Okay, in quadrant 4, which one is positive? All signs teacher crazy, so it's cos. Only the cos value is positive. Now this is something special. I want to show you all another way of writing. Sometimes the question can give you in negative form. Okay, you see full circle is 360, correct? Now here it rotates 330. Sometimes the question don't give you 330. They give you 30 degree here. Negative 30. Okay, now let me write properly. Negative 30 degree. So for example, let's say sine negative 30, cos negative 30, tangent negative 30. Now I don't want you all to get confused. I told you all before, if it's negative, that means it's a reverse direction. Okay, so all this while you are rotating anti-clockwise, but because it's negative, now you're going reverse, so it's clockwise. Okay, so it's actually the same. Okay, negative 30 is actually the same as positive 330. So you can actually write back the same thing, sine 330. Okay, cos 330 and tangent 330. You can write this. Why? Because one is just rotating clockwise, the other one is rotating anti-clockwise, but they are the same value. Okay, they are the same value. So you can actually write like this. Now the next step is you want to change it to acute angle again, like the first quadrant. How do you change it to acute angle? It's actually the same as the acute angle would be here lah. This part, the 30 degree lah. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to change it to, you're going to use 360 minus 330, cos 360 minus 330, and then tangent 360 minus 330, because you want to find the acute angle. Okay, now the only thing that changes is the sign, the positive negative sign. So here is cos, right? So only the cos is positive, the rest is negative. Okay, so now what are you going to do? here is going to become negative sine 30 again, positive cos 30, and negative tangent 30. So what would be the answer for each of them? So sine 30 is 1 over 2, so it's negative 1 over 2. Here is going to be sec 3 over 2. Here is going to be negative sec 3 over 2. Over 3. Okay, so this is how you solve, this is how we are going to use the diagram here. Okay, so I'm going to do some exercises with you, and then you see how to really implement this. But here is a rough picture of how you change the obtuse angle or the reflex angle. How do you change it into the acute angle? Okay, you can change it back into the acute angle, but the only difference is the positive negative will change. Okay, so that's all. So now let us go straight to exercises. Okay, alright, let's do these questions together. Okay, so question A, second 150. Now, so I told you all before, second is actually what? 1 over cos, correct? So 1 over cos 150. So 150 is what? Which quadrant is that? 150 is going to be the third quadrant, right? Not third quadrant, second quadrant. So this one is what? All signs. So this sign is going to be positive. So cos will be negative, correct? So when you rewrite this, it's going to be 1 over, so cos is negative, right? So negative cos. So change it into acute angle. So acute angle would be 180 minus 150. Okay, so 100 is here, right? So the acute angle is here. Okay, so you get 1 over negative cos 30. So your answer would be negative 2 over sec 3. Okay, you can straight away use your calculator. Now, question B. Cosec 240. So cosec is 1 over sine. So 1 over sine 240. So sine is, this one is which quadrant? 240 is which quadrant? 240 would be the second quadrant. It's less than 270. So it's going to be the second quadrant. So here is 240. So if you want to find the acute angle, you have to take 240 minus the 180. So you're finding for this angle here. Okay, so you take, oh, by the way, this is a third quadrant, right? Q3. So quadrant 3, this one tangent is positive. Okay, so sine will give you negative. So 1 over negative sine 240 minus 180. Okay, so you get 1 over negative sine 60. So answer is negative 2 over sec 3. Same as A lah. Okay, now last one here. Question C. This one is cot 315. So cot 315 is 1 over tangent 315. So tangent is which quadrant? 315 is which quadrant? It will be the fourth quadrant, right? So it will be a full circle like this. 315. So the acute angle is going to be here. Okay, that's the acute angle. So again, this is quadrant 4. So in quadrant 4, only the cos is positive. The rest will give you negative value. So tangent, of course, it will be negative. So 1 over negative tangent. So 315 change to acute, it will be 360 minus 315. Okay, 360 minus 315. So you will get 1 over negative tangent 45. Yeah, correct. So your final answer would be negative 1. Clear? So this is ABC. Now let's look at DEF. Okay, DEF. Question D. So this is sine 45 plus cos 225. Okay, so sine 45 is already an acute angle, so there's really nothing to change. So you can just leave it as it is. But the only thing you have to change is the second one, which is cos 225. So cos 225 is, okay, 225 is in which quadrant? It's going to be in the third quadrant. So in the third quadrant, only tangent is positive. So cos is going to be negative. So I'm going to write like this. Negative cos, change it to acute, 225 minus 180. Okay, so you get sine 45 plus, or I can just simplify this, I get negative cos 45. 9, 10, yeah, correct, cos 45. So sine 45 minus cos 45, you get 1 over sec 2 minus 1 over sec 2. Answer is 0. Okay, question E. Secant 60 plus 2 cosec 30. So first thing, change it to change it to the basic tree. Okay, so 1 over cos 60 plus 2 sine 2 over sine 30. Okay, so this one, there's really nothing to change. Both of them are already in acute angle, so you can just straight away use your calculator. You will get 2 plus 2 times 2. Answer is 6. Okay, now last one, question F. Secant pi plus cos pi over 2. Now if they write in terms of pi, remember you learned this in form 4. We learned about radian, right? Is it form 4? Yeah, I think so. I think it's form 4. I can't remember. Okay, anyway, we learned about radian. So in radian, 360 is, okay, just let me recap. 360 is actually 2 pi. 180, which is half, is actually equals to pi. Okay, so in this case it's pi, so that means it's 180. This is pi over 2, so it's again half, so it's 90. Okay, so if you want to solve this in the form of radian, please, your calculator, you have to change it to radian. Otherwise you will get the wrong answer. Okay, so in this case I'm going to use in degree form. Okay, so what I'm going to do is change it to degree. So secant pi is 180 plus cos 90. Okay, so secant is 1 over cos 180 plus cos 90. So you get negative 1 plus 0. So your answer is negative 1. Okay, so that's all for this part. This is the basic. I'm just showing you how to use the diagram, okay, because moving on you'll be using a lot of that. Okay, so the next video, part 2, we're going to be solving graph. I'm going to show you all how to sketch graphs. Okay, so I'll see you on my next video.